Hello, internet fans, and welcome to 3B Video. I'm your host, Rotten Roger DeMarco, and today we're going to be talking about my top 5 horror films from 1998. And this is the part where I offer that little itty-bitty disclaimer. Take it away, Willy Wonka.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
The way that I do these rankings is not by which film did the best in the box office in 1998 or yada yada. The way that I do these rankings is by the amount of fun that I have with each film. So, my list and your list, they're going to be way different, and that's A-okay.
Okay, USA. Okay, USA.
Now, for the casual watchers, you might have been like, where the hell did those guys go? We've been gone for almost a year, but we've been doing our regularly scheduled live streams every Friday. But if you're not into live streams, that's probably why you haven't seen us in a very long time. But for those of you who need to be caught up and in the know, we made a movie this summer, and you can watch the trailer for that movie right here. It's called TapeHead, and we made it with no money, so you should check that out. But enough of all that hibbity-dibbity hoopla. You're here for a top 5 list, so let's get on with the show.
You no business born insecure junkyard motherfucker!
Coming in at number 5 for my top 5 horror films of 1998 is Gus Van Sant's Psycho remake. I see you, and I know exactly what you're thinking.
You actually think that the Psycho remake is a good movie?
I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Yeah, sure, I do. And it's time that some of you get over yourselves and like this movie too. Let me tell you why. Vince Vaughn takes over the role of Norman Bates, and he's awesome. I think there's a preconceived notion of Vince Vaughn being a comedic actor, so people weren't ready to give him this chance. But as of late, he's done stuff like Freaky, or he's done stuff like Brawl and Cell Block 99, and so people are starting to see this other side of him. They just weren't ready in 1998. But you've got Viggo Mortensen, Julianne Moore, Anne Heche's butthole right there in the movie, Robert Forster, and my man James Remar. How are you going to hate on a movie with James Remar in it? Don't you know what James Remar will do to you?
I'll shove that bat up your ass and turn you into a popsicle.
But I love this movie. I always have, I always will. It gets unjustly shit upon because this film has such a high place in the horror genre. But, no one seems to bat an eye when other films get remade. And I think that it's time to open your hearts and accept Psycho as a great remake. If not, that's totally cool too. You don't have to like it just because Uncle Roger says you should like it, but you should like it. That's a double-edged sword. Do whatever you want. Like whatever you want. That's super cool with me.
Tell them all, fuck you, and then hopefully we get along soon, and then let's get back at it. That's my plan.
But moving on to my number 4 horror film from 1998, Mike Pie-Plow. I don't know if I can say this director's name with a straight face. Director Mike Pie-Plow.
That name again is Mr. Plow.
Putting that Simpsons thing in and getting demonetized. Mike Pie-Plow's Strangeland, otherwise known as D. Snyder's Strangeland. Oh buddy, oh boy. If you don't know about this movie, it's Silence of the Lambs meets the internet age. So you've got tons of nu metal and body modification, and D. Snyder walking around in head-to-toe tattoos with piercings in his ding-dang doodle, his nose, all over his face, and he files his teeth down to shark-like points and, stalks girls on the internet and sticks needles in their nipples. It's a weird, awesome movie that stars discount
Ted Levine.
And I always forget that guy's name. He was in a bunch of stuff, but every time I see him, I go, that guy is not Ted Levine. You're not. I see what you're doing. You're the dollar store Ted Levine, and it's fine. Everybody has a place. But I love this movie. Great soundtrack, great villain, and we've been hearing rumblings, rumors for fucking 20 years about a sequel. And D. Snyder, hey man, Holliston is in between seasons, which has been for like a decade. So give me Strangeland 2, the world needs it. You could stalk and murder hipsters on Twitter. Do that for me, please, and tell me where to send the check, because I'll do that. I love this movie. Anyway, you should too. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But enough of that. Let's move on to my number 3 horror film from 1998. Is director Stephen Avalos and Lance Wheeler's The Last Broadcast. If you've been watching this channel for a long time, you've probably heard me or Evil bring this film up in some capacity. This is 1998, so this film predates Blair Witch Project, and it is very eerily similar. A group of people go out into the woods so that they can cover the story of the Jersey Devil. Only, their footage is what's found, blah blah blah, you get the gist. It's very Blair Witch-esque, but it was first. And it's one of those movies that not a lot of people talk about, but it has a very lasting impression on me. It was, dare I say, maybe scarier than Blair Witch. I don't like it more than Blair Witch, but certain things about The Last Broadcast stick with me more than things from Blair Witch Project. Not necessarily as quotable as Blair Witch Project, but damn, is it a good movie. So, if you're in the mood for one of the very first found footage films, you're on that Blair Witch kick, you want a little something, a little spooky, eerie atmosphere with a bunch of shaky cameras that are gonna give you a seizure, look no further than The Last Broadcast, because it is awesome. So coming in at my number 2 horror film from 1998 is Robert Rodriguez's The Faculty. You knew that was going to pop up on this list somewhere. Robert Rodriguez's late 90s love letter homage to the invasion of the body snatchers and things of that nature. Very hip, slick, clean 90s teen horror film that is way more than just another teen horror film. You've got a great cast with Josh Hartnett, Clea Duvall, Robert Patrick, Piper Laurie, Ursher got the voice to make your booty go. All types of great character actors, but this movie just kind of stands out among all of that 90s jargon with the really bad cover art with floating heads and yada yada, which I think is part of why this movie did not do so well when it first came out. Was it's a bunch of floating heads, and it didn't get a very good promotional push, but it found its audience with home video. And my wife and I probably don't go 2-3 months without popping this movie on because it's just so much fun. And who doesn't want to watch Elijah Wood figure out who the aliens are, and everybody snorting caffeine pills and having showdowns? It was very close for this. I almost put this at number 1 because I watch this movie so much. But there can be only one, and there is one film from 1998 which I watch way more than The Faculty. So coming in at number 1 is Deep Rising. Treat Williams, Kevin J. O'Connor, a slew of bad guys, including Wes Studi. If you don't know about this movie, allow me to introduce you to this film.
I see what's going on in here.
So Treat Williams and Kevin J. O'Connor are sort of this little crew who will take passengers wherever they need to go. If the money is there, we do not care, is their slogan. So they end up working with some less than reputable folks. And wouldn't you know it, they get tasked with giving a ride to a bunch of crazy militia hijacker dudes who are going to hijack this giant cruise liner that's the most expensive cruise liner ever made, helmed by Discount Nick Nolte, whatever that guy's name is. You're going to catch a theme with this top 5. There's a lot of discount somebodies involved in these films. And every time I see this dude, who I believe is the fella who runs the mental institution in Silence of the Lambs, I say, is that Nick Nolte? No, that's not Nick Nolte. That's that other asshole who looks like Nick Nolte. But either way, this is a great movie. We're right at that cusp of CGI kind of taking over. So as a result, some movies that had CGI just don't quite age that well. But with Deep Rising, it's the exact opposite. I don't know what was going on and who helmed the CGI in this movie, but it is mind-blowing. And it's mixed with some practical stuff, and it's just a very fun, like, action, adventure, horror movie with great practical effects and great CGI. And Kevin J. O'Connor just stealing the goddamn show every time he opens his mouth.
Oh my God, he's right. You're right.
So if you guys know that actor's name, who's the discount Nick Nolte, or you know who helmed the special effects, let me know in the comments, because I should know these things, but I've been out of here for a while. So, I'm back in the video store, back to doing research, back to talking about films, and I'm excited to get back to doing these lists for you guys. Let me know your top 5 in the comments below. Because after all, there's a lot of movies out there, and somebody's got to make one, so why not me, right? Trying that new slogan, because I make movies now. I don't know if you remember from before. You guys remember from earlier? Click the link, check out the trailer, buy it, wish your money. I'm gonna go. I'm out of here.